Good Friday morning, friends. A couple of things before we look into the text in Matthew 13 together this morning. First, Mayor Cooper announced yesterday that we are moving into phase 3 of Nashville's plan for reopening, and this moves us closer to meeting together again. So we will be getting as a staff you more information very soon about what that looks like, specifically how we can do so as safely as possible. Next, today, June 19th, is known as Juneteenth. On this day, in 1865, although the Emancipation Proclamation had been issued more than 2 years earlier, it wasn't until this date, 2 months after the Civil War ended, that all of those enslaved in Texas learned they were free. The day became known as Juneteenth, which became a legal state holiday in 1980 in Texas. It's the darkest stain on our storied American history that we as Christians could have misunderstood God's desire for all humans and equality so egregiously as to participate in the institution of slavery. Jesus' disciples had trouble understanding Jesus' teaching, often. So it's not surprising that at the end of Matthew 13, after Jesus has told them several parables in a row. And parables, by the way, can be described as earthly stories with heavenly meaning. So several parables in a row, jam-packed with heavenly meaning. So Jesus asks them in verse 51, "Have you understood all these things?" And they answered him, "Yes." So he continued, "Therefore, every teacher of the law who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom treasures new and old." The one who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven, Jesus says. Remember what we defined disciple as yesterday, that we will continue to use moving forward. A disciple is one who believes and follows Jesus, one who is being transformed by Jesus, and one who is on mission with Jesus. Jesus says, and the one who is a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of the storeroom both old and new things. So the old things, things that we hang on to like tradition, good things, things that have formed us, have gotten us to where we are today. But we must also understand the new things, that God is doing new things among us. We learn better ways. Sometimes we just learn better. I worked at the Grand Ole Opry one summer during college. It was really fun. I love the Opry. I got to be backstage some in my job. I got to meet and talk with, several times, little Jimmy Dickens. He was quite small in stature, but man, larger than life in personality. It was said of little Jimmy Dickens that he would always spend some time with first-time Opry performers, people who were there for the first time, and he would give them all the same advice. He would say, "Sing the song that got you here." So in other words, sing what the crowd knows. Now sometimes the artists would get to sing 2 songs, and then they could perform, something new, something they're working on, something they're excited for people to hear. And sometimes those new songs would steal the show. Treasures new and old. Let me ask you, where do you see God working today? In the words of the Apostle Paul, "Rise up, you who have been asleep. Behold, Jesus makes all things new." Let's join him today. You are loved, you are sent, and you are never alone. Have a great day. Grace and peace.